You think attraction is obvious. You think if she likes you, she'll spell it out so clearly even your doubts can't hide from it. But real interest is rarely loud at first. It's subtle. It's tested. And one of the clearest signs is not what she says. It's what she touches. If you need regular reminders that truth will build you faster than comfort ever will, subscribe now. Because too many men are being trained to ignore reality, overthink simple signals, and then call that maturity. It's not maturity. It's disconnection. And if you don't hear the truth often, your mind will fill the silence with insecurity. So here's what it really means. When a woman touches your arm, your forearm, your shoulder, or finds a small excuse to make physical contact in front of you during a conversation, especially when she didn't need to, she is very often signaling comfort, curiosity, and attraction. Not always. Listen carefully. Not always. But often enough that a grounded man pays attention. He doesn't panic. He doesn't fantasize. He notices. Because touch is not casual when someone is deciding how close they want to be to you. And that's where most men get this wrong. The weak mind sees one touch and starts building a relationship in his head. The numb mind gets touched 3 times and acts like it means nothing. One man is delusional, the other is asleep. Both are disconnected from reality. You do not need fantasy, you need calibration. The misconception is this: if she likes you, it will look dramatic. It will be obvious. It will be movie-level chemistry, long eye contact, perfect timing, some giant green light that removes all risk from your side. That is what boys wait for. That is what passive men pray for. But real life does not reward that kind of waiting. Real life speaks in patterns, not fireworks. She leans in, she stays near, she laughs a little longer, she finds reasons to keep the exchange alive. And then sometimes, right there in the middle of ordinary conversation, she touches you. Not because she tripped, not because the room was falling apart, not because it was necessary, because her body moved before her words caught up. That matters. Why? Because touch is a test of emotional and physical permission. It's a bid for connection. That's called escalation through comfort. Not manipulation, not games. Comfort. A human being who feels safe with you will often begin closing distance before they confess desire. They don't always announce attraction with a speech. Sometimes they announce it with contact. Brief, light, real. She touches your forearm when she laughs. She taps your shoulder when she makes a point. She brushes lint off your shirt that didn't need to be removed. She keeps her hand there 1 beat longer than necessary. That extra beat matters. Men who lack self-respect miss this because they are obsessed with certainty. Men who lack presence miss it because they are trapped in their own head. And men who lack discipline ruin it because the second they sense interest, they lunge. They flood the moment. They become needy. They start performing. They stop listening. They stop breathing. They stop being the man she was beginning to feel safe around. You stop being natural. You stop being grounded. You stop reading what is actually happening. And you start chasing what you hope is happening. That is how attraction dies. The hard truth is that many men do not lose women because they were unattractive. They lose them because they were unstable the moment attention appeared. They could not hold eye contact without begging for approval through their energy. They could not receive interest without trying to cash it in immediately. They turned one signal into 10 assumptions. They made the interaction heavy, and heaviness kills early attraction. You need to understand the root cause. A woman touches you because, in that moment, your presence lowered her guard. Your energy felt safe enough, solid enough, calm enough that her body stopped treating you like a stranger and started treating you like a possibility. That's huge, because before attraction becomes verbal, it usually becomes physical in microdoses. Not sex, not obsession, proximity, ease, contact. That's how the nervous system tells the truth before the mouth does. And that is why the touch matters more than the line. Words can be social. Words can be polite. Words can be convenient, but touch is expensive. Touch crosses a boundary, even lightly, even for a second, which means when she chooses it, especially more than once, she is usually not indifferent. Indifference does not move closer. Indifference does not linger. Indifference does not reach. Now let's get even sharper, because this is where you either mature or stay confused for another 5 years. Not every touch means she wants you. Sometimes she is warm by nature. Sometimes she is expressive. Sometimes she touches everybody. Sometimes you are misreading friendliness because starvation will make crumbs feel like a feast. Be honest about that. A desperate man can turn basic politeness into a prophecy. Don't be that man. So what separates fantasy from reality? Pattern. Does she touch you and then stay engaged? Does she hold eye contact after? Does she keep returning to you in a group? Does she find another reason to continue the interaction? Does her body stay open or does it close follows right after? Does she seem relaxed around you, or is the touch isolated and random? That's called context. And without context, your interpretation is garbage. See, the problem is not that men notice signals. The problem is that most men notice one signal and ignore the full picture. They want certainty without developing awareness. They want results without emotional discipline. They want the girl without becoming the kind of man who can handle being wanted. That costs you more than you realize. It costs you your clarity. It costs you your timing. It costs you your dignity. Because when you don't understand what a signal means, you usually do one of two pathetic things. You freeze and do nothing because you're terrified of being wrong. Or you overreact and come on too strong because you're terrified the moment will disappear. Fear on one side, fear on the other. Same weakness, different costume. And women feel that weakness faster than you think. They feel the man who collapses under possibility. They feel the man who needs every sign to become a guarantee. They feel the man who has never learned how to stay composed when life opens a door. That's why this isn't really about her touch. It's about your nervous system. It's about whether you can stay in your body when attraction enters the room. It's about whether you can interpret interest without turning into a performer. It's about whether your self-respect is stronger than your hunger. Because a hungry man grabs, a grounded man receives. Read that again in your mind. A hungry man grabs, a grounded man receives. Now picture the man who understands this. He is not loud. He is not trying to look alpha every 5 seconds. He is not addicted to proving he is unaffected. He doesn't play dead to seem mysterious. He doesn't become a clown to keep attention. He doesn't become a salesman the second a woman smiles at him. He is present. He is relaxed. He is aware. He knows who he is before she enters the room, so he doesn't need her reaction to create his identity. He listens fully. He speaks cleanly. He moves without rush. He notices signals without worshiping them. When she touches his arm, he doesn't flinch internally and write wedding vows in his head. He also doesn't act cold to punish her for making him feel something. He stays centered. Maybe he smiles a little slower. Maybe he holds the eye contact a little longer. Maybe he matches the warmth in his tone. Maybe later he invites the conversation forward with simple confidence. Nothing forced, nothing theatrical, just clear masculine presence. That is the man women trust. Not the man who is desperate to be chosen, the man who is already anchored. And maybe this is the part you need to hear most. If you are so starved for validation that one touch throws you off balance, the real issue is not your dating life. The real issue is your relationship with yourself. Because the man who is connected to his mission, his standards, his body, his work, his brotherhood, his discipline, he does not overvalue random signals. He appreciates them. He does not depend on them. That's self-respect. Self-respect means you can enjoy the moment without trying to own it. Self-respect means you can feel interest without becoming needy. Self-respect means you can take a step forward without making your worth depend on the outcome. So what do you do when it happens? First, stop narrating. Stop turning a live interaction into a courtroom in your head. She touched me. What does it mean? Was that accidental? Should I say something? Is this my chance? Relax. Be where your feet are. Second, read the cluster, not the crumb. Look for repetition, openness, eye contact, proximity, investment. Attraction is usually a pattern of green lights, not a single flash. Third, hold your composure. Do not speed up your speech. Do not start bragging. Do not start fishing for reassurance. Do not suddenly become extra funny, extra available, extra eager. That is insecurity trying to convert attention into certainty. Fourth, gently reciprocate energy, not intensity. If she becomes warmer, you become clearer. If she opens up, you lead with calm curiosity. If the moment supports it, you create a next step. Not a speech, not a confession, a step. We should continue this over coffee. Simple, clean, unafraid. Fifth, if there is no consistency, let it go. This is where your dignity lives. You do not force meaning onto mixed signals. You do not chase ambiguity. You do not beg confusion to become clarity. If it's there, it will usually reveal itself in pattern. If it's not, your job is not to fantasize harder. Your job is to move on stronger. Do this. Stop this. Redirect. Do notice repeated, unnecessary touch paired with attention. Stop treating every sign like a guarantee. Redirect your focus to grounded observation. Do stay calm and slightly more open. Stop rushing to prove yourself. Redirect the interaction toward clarity. Do invite, lead, and then watch the response. Stop hovering in limbo for weeks. Redirect your energy to women who are easy to read because they actually want to be read by you. And understand this too. The real power is not in spotting that she likes you. The real power is in not needing every woman to like you to feel like a man. That changes everything because now you're not bargaining for crumbs. Now you're selecting reality. Now you're no longer trapped in that weak adolescent loop of, does she want me? The better question is, do I like who I become around her? Is this energy reciprocal? Is this aligned? That question will save you. It will save you from chasing women who only like attention. It will save you from humiliating yourself over temporary chemistry. It will save you from building castles out of gestures. And it will pull you back into your center, where your life actually gets built. Because let's be honest, some of you are spending so much energy decoding women that you have abandoned the work of becoming a man worth decoding. You study her texts, her tone, her touch, her timing, but you ignore your body, your purpose, your emotional control, your standards, your spiritual weight, your habits, your focus. You are trying to win signals when you should be building substance. And substance changes the whole game. When you become more grounded, you read better. When you become more disciplined, you chase less. When you become more fulfilled, you cling less. When you become more honest, you need less pretending from both sides. Then attraction stops being this chaotic mystery and starts becoming something you can feel clearly. Not because women changed, because you did. So yes, if she touches your arm, your shoulder, your chest, lightly your back as she passes, and it's paired with attention, comfort, and repeated engagement, there's a very real chance she likes you. That is often what it means. It means your presence is landing. It means the wall is lower. It means she is not just hearing you, she is feeling you. But your job is not to become intoxicated by that. Your job is to remain solid enough to respond like a man. Not thirsty, not numb, solid. This is the reframe. Her touch is not the prize. Your clarity is. Her signal is not your salvation. Your self-respect is. Her interest is not the reason to become confident. It is the moment that reveals whether your confidence was real to begin with. That's the whole lesson. Life keeps testing you with small doors. A glance, a pause, a touch, a chance. And every time, the question is the same. Will you meet the moment with presence, or will you sabotage it with fear? Choose presence. Choose calm over fantasy. Choose observation over obsession. Choose self-respect over approval. Choose grounded action over emotional leakage. Because the man you are trying to become does not need to manipulate women. He does not need to decode every atom of behavior to feel powerful. He does not need to beg the world to choose him. He becomes so clear, so centered, so aligned that when real interest shows up, he can meet it without shrinking and without lunging. That is power. That is maturity. That is masculine peace. And once you live from there, everything changes. Your eye contact changes. Your posture changes. Your standards change. Your dating life changes because your identity changed. You stop asking for permission to exist. You stop performing to be loved. You stop confusing attention with worth. You become harder to shake because you are finally rooted in something deeper than female validation. So if you've been blind to these signals, wake up. If you've been overreacting to them, tighten up. If you've been starving for them, build a life that feeds you first. Because when you do, you'll stop fumbling moments that were meant for you. You'll stop chasing what was never clear. You'll stop abandoning yourself in the presence of possibility. And that is freedom. You are not here to beg for signs. You are here to become a man who can read them, respect them, and still remain himself. You are the answer, not her touch, not her approval, not her attention, you. If you want more truth like this, more clarity, more language for the things most men feel but never learned how to name, subscribe, and stay close. This is for the men who are done living confused, done performing, and done shrinking. You're not alone here. You're building with men who would rather hear the hard truth than be comforted by lies.